Okay. Well, it's one bill, so let's get started. You want to start with community partners? Do we need to wait till Bailey gets here?
Right here.
Oh,
No, I usually
you're hiding.
These two beat me to the front row this time.
What? She's kind of elbow, you gotta watch out for her.
I set up my office.
Oh, I tried to give you a little bit.
Oh, you're fine.
Roll back.
I just didn't want him to be right behind me and roll over something.
Right, yeah.
Roll
The
over,
screeching.
Oh, yeah.
roll over
That
a
is not gonna
total.
help it.
Yes, you want your pitch rubbed, don't you? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna join Zoom and then I'll share my screen. So I need you to. I don't know if you
You need me
want
to admit you?
Yes, please. Why am I not showing up?
Are you on,
Wait, there
which
we go.
Zoom are you on?
I don't know. Why was in the
The
calendar
one I
invite?
sent on the calendar invite, yeah.
Do these one too?
Like me just to share it for you?
Sure. Oh, wait, maybe there it goes.
There you go. I admitted you now.
Oh, thank you. Mhm.
Promise I admitted you. I don't know either.
There it goes.
Oh,
Yes. New technology doesn't even work today.
this goes as well as the.
Looking up here.
Okay. So yesterday I asked all three of you to send me kind of your, that's not anything, your allocations for this community partner funding. And these, why is it still not here? Jeez, yes. Okay. These are the results of those allocations that you guys had sent to me. We did the average. The column H is the average of everything, of course, rounded to the nearest dollar. So I know last year we kind of went through each one still and talked about it. The total of this is $228,958. Commissioner Hoff did not allocate the full 235, and neither did Commissioner Gosar, with Commissioner Gosar's reasoning being the reports that were not turned in and possibly leaving funding set aside for them moving forward. So
I screwed something in.
you screwed something.
That's okay. Well,
I can change it.
I'm not even.
So what would you guys like to do?
I have one change to one of them. Can you change that?
Yeah, I can absolutely
Just
change it. I can make
for
it.
interfaith, would you make that 17.5?
Yeah. Maybe I can change it.
I click the enable edit.
Thank you.
It's 'cause you're in front of
We get to do it all the
everybody.
time with your guys' files.
I don't know why it just
Otherwise,
automatically
does
does it. Any other changes that you guys wanted made? Let's scroll down to.
Did you have changes? Tab?
Just for you guys, I think we should allocate the full 250. The people haven't sent in their reports. We should hold allocating their money, in my opinion, until their reports are in. That's pretty standard practice in the nonprofit world, and I'm not sure why people didn't return in their reports.
When were they due?
They're due the 30th, so, or 31st, so Sunday. And I did double check with Brady this morning and no others came in.
Yeah, and so if they would need to apply or come back and ask us later, that's why I had, or maybe that's. a
So
bad idea.
are you kind of thinking maybe just
Are you,
allocate them 0 right now? And then they have to come in and do the whole contingency process?
Yeah, how would you, I don't want to make it more work for you.
I don't either, but they also missed the deadline,
Yes.
so I'm
Yes,
not very nice when it comes to this because also I don't have any leniency
right.
when it comes to my reports, so, but
are you wanting to encumber the funds?
Well, I just want to put 250 as our placeholder.
Well, we had talked about yesterday, doing 235 and then holding the 15,000 aside for that, any that come, throughout the year or whatnot, that. That's up to you guys if you wanna put a placeholder for extra funds.
But I just want to explain why you see the red on my spreadsheet and what the intention of it was. So,
Then the red ones are the ones that didn't return their reports.
correct.
that's correct. And it's Bailey's confirmed,
Yes.
so.
And then the yellow, of course, is downtown
Mine,
clinic.
yeah.
So,
So you're wanting, if I understand, you want to allocate all 250 today.
Yeah, there's a budget amount, and then those people, if they don't come with a report by
That's your call.
our.
My deadline was the 31st, so.
31st.
That's good.
I'm okay with Bailey's deadline.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is standard practice in the grant world. And it's happened to everybody who's written grants, I imagine. I know it's happened to me, so that'll learn you, as they say.
Well, I guess, I could do that, but they need to understand, they do it again. It's done. They're not getting a second chance ever. Because I just went to 235, so
Right,
we could, that can be adjusted to whatever, but.
my thought is if you make it sting a little bit initially, or at least bring it, because I know you guys sent multiple emails. That if
So
they have
what,
to come
how are you
back,
making it sting?
well, if they come back, I can't imagine I can't imagine for me, people who didn't produce a report will get the allocation that they asked for. They might get a portion of it.
Okay, because that wasn't clear. It was like they come back, they get
Right.
what they, and, no, it needs to,
But it-
there needs to be a fight there.
Yeah.
And if they do it again, then too bad. The
Right.
next time they get
Right.
nothing.
Yep.
So with that, would you like to set a new deadline for these 3? And I can reach out and tell them if we don't get our funding, or if we don't get our report by this date, we will not be funded this year.
You won't get any funding.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, these are the only ones that hadn't returned, but
And return the report.
but also had reapplied. There are some that had not reapplied, that you still have.
Correct. Like the
Laramie Connections.
Yeah,
connections, which is no longer advisory, human trafficking advisory council.
Yeah.
That one also hasn't, but they did not reapply this year. And we did check our IT spam, just so you know, because we have had a lot of nonprofit stuff caught up in that.
in jail.
It
Yes,
happens.
and some get us continues too, so. So,
2 weeks is more than enough time, I think, for people who've had 11 months or 10 months. to do this.
so the 16th?
Yeah.
By your next commissioner meeting? Okay, so I can reach out to them. But so for the 1% out of the main budget, we will allocate $250,000 for community partner funding. Give those guys 2 more weeks to see if that comes in. Whatever is remaining of that 250 that isn't initially allocated from what you guys see up here will go into contingency. Does that sound fair? Is that what you guys want to do?
Yep.
Okay. All right. You guys were easy.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you, I'll do half the request for people who file the report late,
Okay.
right? That'll just make it straightforward for me. to-
Maybe I'll just
but-
have an agenda item on the 16th, just to
Okay.
keep you guys posted. Does that?
Oh, that works great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Really.
That sounds good. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, we're cooking right along.
I know.
11 minutes.
Tracy, do you want to talk about revenues? Amanda has all of the salary stuff, but I'd like to wait till she gets back. She has an appointment.
More than the revenues I talked about yesterday?
She's trying to kill time.
Hey Tracy, I actually, got all my years mixed up. We actually only had one variable this
Okay.
year. So I don't know if you saw, I assume you saw Jeremiah's email. That he was,
The submission deadline.
all that stuff, because I know he sent it to you and I. I
Mhm.
wasn't sure if we were included in that.
I think you forwarded me something.
No, he
I'm-
sent something yesterday.
Oh, then I didn't see that.
Okay, I'll forward it to you.
I'll do it right now.
Okay. well,
I thought I did.
But, like I said, we only had one that qualified for status this year, so that makes my revenue even cuter than before.
Well, I don't know how we're gonna make payroll now. So
I
like
know.
you're $1,500.
Just ruining everything. Well, cause I think I get charged like $850 or $650 for a burial, so that's what we would get reimbursed.
Yeah, it's.
$1,500. Limited to 1,500 for
Yeah,
burial.
We won't have enough, or there weren't enough to hit that 1,500 mark, so.
So does that just include the burial or does it include
Burial or
preparing the
cremation.
body and?
So all I pay for is a basic casket and the opening closure of the spot in the cemetery. We go basic. If at any point we have someone who says something about they expressed cremation at one point, I'll do cremains, but I don't generally like to do that. It's very, very final. So if we have somebody who pops up.
Right, yeah, no DNA testing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we keep DNA on file, so that's nice at least.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I just don't like to do the cremation because like that, it's so final. So if any family or I've had people pop up 9 months later and are like, oh, well, what about this, this and this? And I'm like, I couldn't find you 9 months ago, so, and they want to move them or something like that. And then if they want to cremate at that point, that's all on them. But I feel like if I leave them intact, then I'm not offending anybody who may pop up. Just kind of makes it easier.
Tracy, with these reserve accounts, with those, are there anything that's still waiting to be paid off of these reserve accounts? Or are those pretty much with everything that's paid, it's gonna be paid? You don't have some sort of outstanding invoice that you know about for the
No,
reserve accounts, or like the building reserve account?
none that to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
that sign?
the sign needs to come out
Out of
of,
this year?
well,
No, well, I don't think I'll get an invoice in September, so.
it needs to
Okay.
be.
So next year, yes, but this year,
So
none to
far,
my
so
knowledge.
Unless I happen to get that invoice in June, I don't think I'm supposed to get till September.
Well, the AEDs are supposed to come out of the building reserve. But I don't know
Okay.
what's happening with those.
So I don't do expenditures,
Okay.
clearly.
Okay. Well, I just kind of want to know what money we're thinking about here.
far as I know, other than I guess what these guys have brought up, I don't know of anything.
Okay,
I've done all the cash transfers between the inter funds. And everything in the totals worksheet, I believe I have the cash on hand updated, except for the sped funds. That's the only funds I still have left to do. And if there's outstanding invoices or things coming out of, say, impact assistance or some of those other accounts, I would not know.
okay.
So the June expenditures, of course, are still out there, which also would include payroll for June.
Okay.
But everything else I have as up to date as I possibly.
Well, I have some questions. Where are we going to take the airport money out?
This is off topic, but can you put the screen up? Thank you.
Have we taken it out of 1% previously, or have we?
Last year we did 1%
Yes.
for this current fiscal year.
And a portion of lot
Sorry,
line.
Terry, give me one second. We did until full 205 at 1%, didn't we? That's what's budgeted in
It'd be just
1%.
I gotta get off my work.
It's fine, don't, I'm not
I'll
getting
get
In this current,
We paid $35,000 out of
the.
recapture.
Yeah. You took it out of 2 places.
okay, well, then it got fully budgeted in more than one spot.
No, the 205, I think,
Because they asked for 205 and they went to 250 this year.
Yeah,
yeah.
And the full 205 was in the 1% worksheet.
Now. Now. Okay, so you're saying it got budgeted in 1%?
Yes. And are you in the 1%?
I just, last year I just opened it up. Yes, it did. So also. Yeah, because 35 came out of Eatleen. And then 205 was budgeted in 1%.
So we budgeted more than we expended in what they request for this current fiscal year.
And that is a good problem to have.
Yes, we'll be under budget on one of those. funds.
Yeah.
yeah, 35 grand.
Can you read that? I'm just kidding. Cause I cannot.
That's funny.
Thank you, Ken.
I'm gonna need it a lot. It's really big on my screen, but. Okay. So I guess my question is, where do we want to pay for that from? Do we want it to come out of 1%? Do we want it to come out of revenue recapture?
Does it hinder paying anything else if we put it in revenue or take it out of revenue recapture?
I don't think, not all of it can come out of there, but.
Well, if we do 50/50, or
Bailey and I worked on the economic development funds.
Yeah.
And we have everything in there to our knowledge.
To our knowledge, yes, the Pete Lean, we're gonna have revenue recaptures sitting at about 73,000. The other one, I was just trying to pull up, it has more in it, that, the other one's the one where all that Beach Street rent goes to. And to my knowledge, that there's nothing at this point budgeted to come out of either of those. Last year we had Pilot Hill. And then I did ask about those RV spots for that match and we didn't get that funding, so we don't need to budget that either.
Or the RV at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, the fairgrounds, and I'm still waiting on an answer why we weren't funded.
I guess if we could take it out of one account, then we wouldn't have what happened last year.
Well, that might be a nice surprise
I was
always.
gonna say,
And there's $368,179.05 to come out, or that's remaining in the main revenue recapture economic development fund. The other thing I guess that we do have is the property taxes that will come out.
It's in there.
Okay,
Worked with Chelsea and got the numbers for the fairgrounds trailer and then the Beach Street property.
I personally would not like to zero either of these accounts out.
Even with the 250,000, it would have an estimating ending balance. Remaining it projected with the beginning cash, the revenue, and what we know we have to pay out of the regular economic development is estimated cash ending balance of 561,000.
We'd still have the 311,000 coming out of there.
let's take it.
Or we
If we
could
took it all.
take a little bit out of the revenue recapture too. I mean, at least they're on the same page, we would know.
Right,
Right.
You wanna take it all out of the
I think
one?
so.
yeah,
Yeah.
Basically, I think you got it open.
Okay, is the main one. All right, it's on line 30 of the 1% if you were in there, Kayla. Or do you want me
Yeah,
to take
I
it
know
out?
1%, so I can take it out. I will physically take it out. Okay, so there's a report. I have some questions about where some things need to get from. We gotta talk about this Axon agreement, and where we're gonna pay for this from, the 762,000. Cause that's a big chunk of change,
I didn't hear it with the first
the
part.
Axon enterprise agreement for the
Body
body
camera.
cams.
Oh, okay.
Whether we pay all of it or a portion of it in the agreement. Aaron, does it say that it has to be, if you pay a portion of it, is it over how many years or what is do you know?
It comes out to $143,000 per year.
But if you don't pay the 5 years, we did reserve the right to raise that. No.
So we're set?
You could,
It's set.
it's set, even if you don't sign the 5, pay the 5 years.
it's a 5-year contract, but the payment's obligated over the 5. As a worst case scenario.
Do you get a discount for paying it all up front?
We got a discount for signing the contract in December.
So we're looking for another discount.
I know, like, but do we get another one?
We saved about $200,000 by signing it when we did to lock in the previous year's pricing.
So do y'all want to do it 1 year at a time or, and put a placeholder on some account for those 5 years, where that come out every year for the next 5 years, or?
I think, yeah. I think we definitely need to allocate it out of regular revenue source. But,
I almost think that maybe we should pay at least half of it. And that way we know we've got that paid for the next, till we find out what disaster we have coming in November. And,
Is it for the cameras themselves or for the software?
Both
So it's all in one?
cameras, tasers, software and storage.
Figure out. I mean, we just took 250 out of 1%. We was half of that back. We could put 250 in. Tracy has another good idea.
On that note, though, I mean, there's still, my worksheet isn't updating because I don't know if you've saved and I have to refresh or re-enter, but anyway. 1% is, as it stands right now, is at a deficit.
So just so you know though, too, what Amanda and I went through and did yesterday afternoon, and we put all the requests in. So like David's 300,000 for the comprehensive plan is in there, the 80,000 for the building code study. We wanted to see a true picture of everybody's requests, and then you can tell me if you want to take stuff out. So that's partially probably why. I mean, there's 380,000 in there for that. We also put in all the requests from the fair and the library. Let me bring up 1%. You guys can look at that. I don't have to look at it right now. Yeah. So easy to read. Is that big enough? Yes. So. So the library reflected the 94. We budgeted the rent, street for crime victim witness. Of course, we can pass requests every year to do their weed control, the 8,500. That has not changed. Computer replacement for IT. And then Fair Board had requested the 80,000. And then we have all of our various licensing and support. So your HVAC, elevator contract, UI picket. We put the 5-year inspection, Anthony's 5-year inspection into 1%. All of the continuing ed. Generator maintenance is in there. Gatekeeper. I guess, so these were the new requests for David, so I guess you guys need to make a decision on whether or not what you guys want to do with that. It was the 300,000 for the,
and
yep, and then the 80,000 for the building code study.
So can the 2018 sped tax be used for Ben's IT? Because there seems to be 636, almost 636,500 in 2018
Yes,
IT.
I don't know what it was specific to. Do you
It
know?
was
I'm looking
computer-
for Ben, like he's gonna know, because he's probably not.
Computer infrastructure and computer purchases for all the different servers and the computer upgrades.
So I'm assuming we could take some of that out of,
And those amounts might be slightly different on that worksheet, just because that's the funds I haven't got to yet.
Okay.
Just
But
so you know,
that's-
but I do believe that he's pretty close.
Okay, because there's, looks like from what I can see, 100,000 IT.
Yep.
That could come out of 2018, and we could remove that from 1%.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I don't know, to be honest with you, Ben's not here to speak for himself. I don't think he has a lot of pots of money.
Right.
I think he's trying to figure out where they're all supposed to come from, but I think if it falls under the 18 sped, I don't know why he couldn't take it out of there.
Yeah. And I'd like to just, from a public's perspective, close some of these accounts as we need to, instead of having 2001s, 2010s, 2018s as we asked for 2026.
Yeah.
So,
So you wanna take the 65,000 and the 35,000 out of the 2018 sped?
Be good.
Okay, I'm just gonna make a note on the side there, so he knows where that money's gonna.
So you're pulling that out of county IT infrastructure.
Mhm.
So that still leaves him over $500,000.
$1,000, yeah.
I'm also gonna take the 35,000 down here. Computer replacement, is that the other one that you wanted me to zero out?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So that still leaves the question on,
Right.
The 700,000 plus, yeah.
And the 700,000 is 380 from David's requests. And then can you brush what the other 320 would be?
No, we're talking about the body cam
Oh,
contract.
okay, thank you. Okay.
yeah,
Sorry, you were getting, I was
It
trying.
gets, it does get really confusing.
Yeah, okay.
and of course, we did budget 200,000 to miscellaneous uncommitted, which is nice for anything that comes up throughout the year. It inevitably does. You guys look at that one, do.
Would there be any, I guess, Sheriff, any of that coming out of impact assistance that you think would work, or does it not work out of those accounts?
Out of impact assistance.
Yeah,
So for the impact assistance that we applied to, we didn't ask for the whole entire contract for the entire agency. We just asked for body cam equipment and storage for the deputy positions that we asked for in the impact assistance funds, so.
Probably not. Are there any other impact assistance funds that we can pull them out of that maybe are the unrestricted?
There is ECHOLA that has $72,924 for law enforcement. That would be less restricted.
Okay.
There is $446,730 of unallocated between Boswell Springs and Chokecherry that the commissioners can designate for whatever need. I would think a portion of the body cameras for how many ever deputies were asked for in both Rock Creek and Rail Tide, the portion could come out of those two. So all over the board, kind of.
yeah. You have a sense of like, would it be 20%? It would be great if it was 20%, because then we could take 1 year's salary.
I
1 year
believe,
of that.
I believe we asked for 8 deputies total between the two, Rock Creek and Rail Tie. So, and I believe in the contract, we asked for 50 So 8 out of 50 is
16%.
16%. So let's do some math real quick.
We did 1 year, that would be 20% of the contract. It's close to the 16%, not exactly. And we could take it out of one of those, both of those funds, get it back to 50. And we figure out where to take the other 4 years, if we're gonna do it.
So we could, for the reporting purposes of those two impact assistance funds, looks like we can spend up to $121,920
Out of Rock Creek and Rail Tide. Is that what you're saying?
combined.
I just need those two. Okay. Thank you.
So if you divide it by two, oops. Be 60,960 at each.
So Sheriff, can I clarify a number with you?
Sure.
You stated 143,000 a year, which equates to 715,000 over a 5-year contract. But yesterday you said 787,000 total over the 5 years. Just to make sure we get the right numbers in there. Must be pretty good with reading tiny numbers on the phone. I cannot do this. Okay. Well, it works.
We don't have a meeting.
Almost. You hit save on the 1%.
Yes, I can.
And then see if I can get my worksheet to type.
Did that work?
No, but I can hit refresh and maybe that'll work.
Is there a refresh on Excel?
Yeah, on the data tab. Refresh all.
Oh, this phone doesn't work. Can you bring up the contract from December 16th?
Oh, God. For the Axum?
Yeah. So we can get Tracy the correct numbers.
Yep, I can do it right now.
Oh, updated something.
$762,317. Total savings. Yeah, so it plays it out as 143. CD there. 143,369.08 the first year. And then every year thereafter, it's 154,736.98.
So first year's 143, what?
143,369.08.
And then the years after.
154,736.98. So 26, May of 26 is that first year, and then 27, 28, 29, and 30.
So did that first year get paid in May?
Nope. I didn't know. Did someone go pay them?
So that averages out to 152,000 over the course of 5 years.
That's the average over the 5 years
Yeah.
is what?
Is 152,
152?
463, 40.
But it sounds like we need to still pay the 143, 369.08 this fiscal year.
Mhm.
Cause it was due May
I
of
don't know.
26.
Did you get a bill from them for May?
We did, we just got it last week.
Oh, you did,
It's
okay.
for this year, they considered it calendar year.
Okay,
Whether you pull it out of this fiscal year or next fiscal year, doesn't make a difference to the tax on.
So we're a little less than 22 short, if we just use the 6960 out of Boca Rock Creek and Trail Tie. And I don't know, there's per capita or there's unallocated.
The per capita will be transferred into the county general fund.
Okay.
That's
okay.
just the one I put in to offset all the different
Right.
foot traffic and stuff, so.
Yeah. So does anybody have another idea?
The unallocated
Yeah.
portion in Chokecherry and Boswell.
so the 121,920 out of Rock Creek and Rail Tie plus covering the rest out of that unallocated?
Out of the 446, 730, is it?
Yeah.
Or would you rather take it out of that 72,924 out of law enforcement or?
Ecola, yeah, we can do.
I mean, it's a smaller.
That's been sitting there for a while, probably should be closed out as well eventually. So maybe start with that,
Or maybe take the 72 and then,
then
get us
divide
to
the
the
rest equally
143.
between the.
okay, so.
So you're gonna take 72, almost 73 out of the E-COLA and then you have a balance from first year split between Rock Creek and Rail Tide?
Yeah,
Does that sound?
at least for this year and then.
They have to find a different
I mean,
way to pay for it next year because it's like 16% of his deputies, and that would be it's probably about 16% of the contract that first year. Certainly not 20.
That's a lot of bake sales between now and then.
I'm a baker, but not that good of a baker.
So that's a little 18.8%. That 143 of the entire contract.
I don't know. Okay, so that gets it paid for this fiscal year. Now how are we gonna pay for it next fiscal year?
This may be a stupid question. How was it paid for before?
Special purpose tax, that's how we paid for the first contract. Back in 2021. The special purpose tax that we had paid for body cameras, digital ticket system, and patrol vehicles.
Which special purpose tax was it? 2018?
Yeah. So there's still 101,000 in that account.
Those haven't been updated.
Oh.
That's the only things I didn't get to
Gotcha.
yet today. But I'm bringing up the accounting software to look at those balances. Come next year, we'll be able to use the overpayment on the 2018 spec.
Oh, what do you
Which
think that
would
would
have
be?
some. I have some preliminary numbers calculated. Let me go in there.
Cause if it comes out of the sped, we don't have to budget it out of there. Oh, it's way too big. So far with what we have received in the overpayments. In there is, well, there's only 24,000 for that part of the vehicles and e-citations.
That's current.
That's as of the last checks in May. How much was that, Tracy? 24,887.33.
You still have money in that account?
Yep.
I thought.
That is the overpayment,
Oh, okay.
That'll be what will be
I thought.
which is not available for use yet until
next year.
next year. 1 year after receipts, so it'll be gradual or incrementally. But I believe the other one, the regular tax is 0.
I mean, we can take the 154,000 out of 1% for next year. Or more, if you guys want.
Have to.
That leaves. $51,000 left in that Rock Creek one, Rock Creek and Rail Tie.
So it's in the airport, a whole lot of this.
Are the totals?
Yeah,
You probably have to go, you had a read only.
I'll just,
Or have you exited?
I'm gonna have, yeah. Back out here.
Because mine changed. I had to go, I had to exit, so refreshed it and work.
Didn't, I had to enable content and then mine.
So, Taylor, we took the 154,736.98 for year 2 of Axon out of 1%. Is that what we've done, or you're?
So
We haven't done a
we
change
can do
proposal?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't put anything in yet, but if you want me to take it from there, I'm happy to put it in there.
Because as good as any.
I mean,
For fiscal 28, is that what you're?
27.
Well, yeah, 27, 20, their calendar year on Axon, so we're paying for half of a year in one fiscal year and half of the year in another fiscal year, and then this, my understanding, if I'm hearing this correctly, because they're going from December to December on the contract, is that right, Sheriff? Yeah. So they're bridging 2 calendar years. Or calendar years bridging 2 fiscal years.
okay, I know what they're doing.
So we'll have a half a payment in 1 year at the end there, right?
In the last year,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Actually, do you know, Sheriff, it looks like the term is from June 15th. Cause this is just a. Whoa. Do you know what your term is on your agreement?
That is the contract. I know it says quote, but it's just the quote and the contract.
It says something about terminating 6/15/2026, so I presume your old contract goes through 6/15/2026, right? Okay, so I imagine that it starts 6/15/2026.
That's why there's a reduced first year.
But when you're saying it crosses two fiscal, I don't believe it does. I think we
Okay,
signed
actually
the
it lines
quote in
up
December, but his
relatively.
old one doesn't lapse until
Oh,
6/15/26. So
yeah.
I would imagine the new one would go into effect.
Okay, so the 143, 369
for-
will take us till next July 1.
Yeah, because the,
Or-
it's May is what it shows. It shows May, May 26, May 27, May 28, 29, and 30, I think is their payment summary. So if he just got a bill, what you said last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it goes through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So then we only have to take care of the 143
right
right now.
now,
That's the one we have to take care of. If we want
Yeah.
to do any more, we can do more. But,
we can, yeah, but we'll want to make sure we budget for
Yeah,
right,
May of.
I guess leave that on the table until we see what ends up.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, we can budget it in 1%. We also have miscellaneous uncommitted, which would pretty much wipe
Yeah.
that whole thing out, or we can budget it in 1%, the
Well-
154.
I guess leave the balance on the table for this session and then we'll see what's left at the end. And then if we can pay it off, we'll pay it off. And just fulfill the contract.
So the 143 will get paid out of Ecola and Rock Creek, which correct me if I'm wrong, and then the 154, 736, do you want me to budget that out of 1% or you do not?
Yeah, I would, yeah, as a placeholder right now, but by the time we're all said and done, if there's, what? 550, 600,000, then get it knocked out and.
This is operating. And 54, 76, okay. All right. Okay, there's that. I'm gonna ask again, do you guys wanna leave this 380,000 in here?
You're,
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion. Obviously, David might.
So, here's just a little bit more information. So when this request was put together, I had more staff. Right now, I'm struggling to find staff. So I would really love to update the comprehensive plan this year, but maybe it would be something I bring back next year. The other project, it's not gonna take a whole lot of time to get somebody hired, a consultant to do that
Is that the
report.
building code
The
stuff?
building code, which if you guys are interested in doing that, we could definitely do that this year, but I guess I would be okay with punting on the comprehensive plan update just because I'm struggling to find, another person to do, so.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
Yep. So maybe,
Do you wanna keep the building code study? Do you wanna take them both out?
let's take them both out.
I'm gonna put something over here, just so I have a.
Have you had any luck Oh, and then.
We had one person accept the offer and then like 2 or 3 weeks later, they decide they don't want to come. We made another offer and I just got news today that they are not going to come here. So,
What did they say? Are they getting something else somewhere else?
the one person did, like, we offered them the person the job, she accepted it. And then I think
Got
something
something
else
closer to home.
came up, yeah, closer to home. The other one just didn't feel like it was a good fit for him, so.
And
And what, it's better to figure that out now than.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
He's getting a lot of out of state applicants, which when you look at the cost of housing and just the cost of living here, it's
Not cost effective.
for an entry level job, it's kind of hard to attract people. So we're having the same problem with some other positions too.
That helped a little bit, didn't it?
This is 2027.
26, 27.
Okay. But this, your total number there doesn't filter back into the totals. You're just trying to figure out where everything's placed.
It does.
Okay.
It just hasn't updated. So. And also with that total that's on there, if you scroll back to the bottom. Where it has the 275,000 for EMS, that is deducting from that bottom total.
From this total.
That comes into the totals word. Because that's a direct aid
Okay.
payment, and I put it directly on the direct aid on the totals worksheet, like my note says there on the right.
Do you know what's probably not fully in though, Tracy, is the 250,000 from the.
Okay.
There's tornado warnings.
Oh,
Do you want to know, it was 1 year we were down here during budget hearings that we had tornado warnings too.
she's trying to get out of a meeting.
She's trying to get out of
She's been getting calls and stuff all along.
Uh,
There's something that's going on.
So Kayla, we have 205, 309.85 in uncommitted in Boswell. Can we just apply that to the first 205, 309.85 and 1%? Just start getting rid of these categories.
Are you talking about the Boswell Springs, the?
Yeah,
The unallocated.
yeah. I really,
I think Tracy would be a good person to,
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want.
does that add any dealios to, does it cause any problems? Right? 'Cause I desperately want these things to start going to zero.
Yeah. You
And
have no idea how bad I would have loved some of these things to zero.
can we do that? I mean,
Yeah, it's
I'm worried about it.
unallocated.
Yeah, I think it'd be wonderful.
I think we get caught up in creating new funds to keep money from rolling over in the general fund. Because people don't want to lose their money, and we end up with 300 different funds that never zero out. And
It doesn't look good. I mean, quite frankly.
Well, I think that was part of the whining.
I agree with you, Tracy. It's a lot to have to manage.
it is. And if you can imagine 300 different funds have their own set of books in one checking account.
Right.
I never had gray hair when I started this job. Just kidding. Not this much, but. No, I'm in total agreement of zeroing out
I
some of
don't
these
think
old
there's any of
funds.
us that are in
Yeah.
this agreement.
And maybe just take the rest of that unallocated, the total 400,000, whatever it is, and just apply it until we run out of it, until we never have to have this conversation again next year. And I'm here, or somebody doesn't have to have a conversation like this.
Before we jump to all these using unallocated funds, though, I think one of the things we need to discuss, and granted, I don't have the estimated cash on hand, for the general fund currently, but the general fund is currently at a deficit of 2.7 million. Before cash on hand. Cash on hand has been luckily enough because Phil comes in higher in the neighborhood of about 2 million to 3 million, which could cover that. But I just want to, before we take all the little pockets of money that we
In case
can
we
use.
need some more pockets of money.
Um,
And I have to say that impact assistance has $5 million, right? Like,
yes,
it makes little sense to me to.
And- I agree. And impact assistance is meant for times during construction to mitigate impacts of by an influx of workers. And you can't tell me that was happening on some of these projects. Real tie is yet to happen. That's a whole different thing, but Rock Creek is done.
That money should have
We're
been
mitigating.
spent. What are we mitigating now with it? Yeah.
All we did was use general funding to cover the mitigation, and now it looks bad, so like,
We should be,
right, you know.
Consolidating.
Yeah,
No, valid point.
and Jeremy has money in there that maybe we can get him a mechanic right now, right, without having to come out of the general fund, because
Yeah.
it's sitting there in Boswell Springs. You know,
Kate, you're not making our phones go off, are you?
No, I'm not. University of Wyoming is,
Oh,
the tornado is up north, not here. And it's not even in our county, so we're.
Oh, we're
We have
probably
two
all right.
files in our county, they're fine. We're watching it.
we have phone calls all the time.
We were just on the phone with you, Doug, that's why they did that.
And their response was?
oops.
Well, we got a tornado alert. We're like, well, for what area? So.
California doesn't count.
Oops. Not here.
I really did think we were trying to get out of a meeting.
No.
Yeah, sorry, we weren't paying attention.
Okay.
Tracy, can I ask you where, okay, so Bailey has their spreadsheet for the 1% community. Where does that pull in at?
I
That's
don't,
not.
I have it separate line item
In the totals?
on the totals worksheet. Oops. And it's down under 1%, community partners requests, and then 235,000. Did you raise it to 250? Did I miss that?
It does need to be 250 because they wanted that contingency again.
So you have it in there?
Yep.
Okay. I was worried it wasn't in there. Thank you.
Nope,
I feel
it's in
better
there.
now.
Definitely at 250 now. That's one of the things I had to follow up on, but it's off my list.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
But yeah, back to impact assistance. I think those two unallocated amounts would help us because they're not specific purpose taxes, they're not. And we kind of are wide open on what you guys want to use them for because those are really old wind projects that were prior to all the current regulations. So before you jump in and say, let's use them all, we need to make sure you use them where you would get the most wisest use.
I don't know where that is. I'm guessing
I don't
you do, and
No, I mean, right now, this is so preliminary that I don't have any recommendations yet. I just want to, before you just say, let's use it all right now.
well, I want to use it all right. My vote is to use it all right now under your guys' guidance. Because I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me.
They do have the Trump hammer.
Yeah, to have stuff in Boswell Springs and
No, I agree with
Chokecherry
you.
and try to keep going back to this spreadsheet time and again, when we could just get rid of that spreadsheet if we could.
Yes.
And offset whatever the best use of it is, the general fund deficit or the 1% or wherever,
And,
you know.
Chokecherry is not a complete project either. That project is still ongoing. We're still getting money for that. monthly.
Yeah,
Small amounts, I think last month was 6,000.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Is that pretty consistent though?
on the amounts, no.
Oh, So it's not like you can count on like $72,000 annually. Okay.
No, and we never know, it just shows up.
Oh.
I mean, that's another terrible problem, to have money that just shows up.
It just shows up.
It doesn't happen in my world.
So I guess today you kind of want to have a global conversation about what we should do with these funds and not really specifically.
Yeah,
Yeah, so if that's the case, my vote is to get rid of those unallocated funds and impact assistance at the very minimum.
okay.
That 400
46,000.
So, and you guys tell us where it's best used. And then also, you know, we have prosecutor's office has 55,515. If that's somewhere that we can use, that would be salaries or whatever, that would be interesting to use as well. So,
And I think they could, I know does Kurt utilize interns like Peggy did?
I don't believe that, I think Jennifer's on, but I don't think that they.
I know she
do.
talked about it yesterday, but
Sorry. We do have interns, and I think there is money in our budget line for interns, but it is not near the amount that it was when Peg was in there. I can pull it up real quick. Hang on.
Oh, I put my phone in front of the speaker.
and is that in interns only, Jennifer, or is that something else in addition to interns, that impact assistance? If you know, you don't have to know.
A good idea.
I don't know what the Boswell Springs impact assistance was for. I can go back and see what I can find.
I can look here too.
Okay.
And then while you're looking, Boswell, if you look for road and bridge as well, I don't know, Jeremy, you might know what it's used for in.
What we use it for?
What it's,
Blades and tires.
Yeah, it's supposed to be for Rock River area tires and cutting edges and temporary help.
okay, not, you couldn't get a full-time person out of that even,
That's in translation, I think.
okay.
That's when that's.
Maybe if they lived there and drove to Laramie.
Right. Well, when it's gone, right, cross that bridge, but, if it just stays there, obviously it's just stayed there. Boswell Springs predates me on the commission. So that was one of the first things that I did 8 years ago with Boswell Springs. So,
We have bought heavy equipment and trucks out of that fund, and I think that's kind of been on hold for now until we figure out more stability.
yeah,
But there is plans for all of that.
okay,
To upgrade more equipment. So it's just trying to figure out where everything else is going before we start pulling trigger on these.
okay. Did you have in your regular budget? Blades or any of that stuff, tires?
No, all of our.
Okay, okay. Can't remember, sorry.
Yeah, all of our equipment usually comes out of spec or Boswell. We don't have anything for everybody, even tires and cutters. We're coming out of these.
And is that the same as rail tie, do you think?
We haven't touched rail tie because there's so little in it, our expenses are so high, it doesn't have enough in it for us to make a difference in it right now.
Okay.
I don't even know the amount, that's the first I've seen of that.
should have been on the reports that we've sent out. Maybe you just didn't know what you were looking at, but I thought we.
I know that Rob and I talked about it before, and just not enough in it to really help us out in it right now, we're just kind of letting it flow.
It's early enough in the process too. You don't want to blow through it.
Right.
But once again, the impact assistance is for
Right.
unmitigated impact from an influx of workers.
Jennifer, can you find anywhere what Boswell?
Except for on Christmas Eve.
I haven't been able to find, I'm still looking, but I haven't yet in our files been able to find anything like our Boswell or all of our other
Well, usually
projects
we
that I
have
was involved in. We had MOU that we did, as well as our pre-hearing statement, and that's where we laid out all of our county specific costs. And I haven't yet found a pre-hearing statement for Boswell. I'm still looking.
I haven't found one yet either.
Seems like everything was on paper.
Oh, that one's so bad.
Day on that one.
See.
I guess absent being able to solve that today, would it be all right to say to you all, hey, can we start looking at this impact
Mhm.
assistance?
Yeah.
And
I think it's,
provide ideas for us to mitigate the 2.7 million or some of the other things that we think about going forward. And I know some of them are brand new in the dealio, in their build out. But you could probably use a mechanic right now, Jeremy, and that will help when they start going fast and furious, maybe. So I don't even know if it's available, but if you guys could work that would be really useful, because I sit here looking at numbers. And so we got 2.7 million and there's 5.9 over here, and at one point I would just like there to be a smaller set of spreadsheets, and I know that's in your wheelhouse too, Sunny and Tracy, I'm guessing.
yes, the less worksheets we can have would be.
And Sheriff, with your stuff in those impact assistance, does that include it includes salaries for deputies? But it doesn't include increases department wide, I'm guessing,
Increases for what?
salaries.
No,
Why?
we basically asked for the salary that we had at the time.
Okay, for 8 deputies?
Mhm.
Okay. And that's throughout those 3 different projects there that you still have money in?
2 different projects. So rail tie, Rock Creek. So we asked for salary positions, training, all of the equipment for it. And a host of vehicles, a whole host of the other things.
Okay.
That's why for the last couple years, or a year and a half, when we started collecting on rail tie and Rock Creek, we started to take our vehicles out of there, zeroed out the vehicle replacement account. We also had that special purpose tax, and so we zeroed out at least 1/2 of that account. We have a special purpose tax for the patrol division and a special purpose tax for the detention division as well. So the detention division isn't quite zeroed out, but that's also has specific projects that we can work on there as well. So in consulting with the treasurer, over these past 18 months in terms of getting permission to spend on those things, we've been told time and time again that we need to spend it on what we ask for. So not necessarily other things out of it unless that there's availability to do so with some of those older impact assistance funds.
The
So
older ones we can, the newer ones.
that's what we've done. We've stayed there,
Okay.
stayed in that lane.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from you then, Pete, or commissioners, is if there's any unallocated funds from impact assistance, that maybe Tracy and the group here, we need to sit down and figure out what can be allocated out, get that allocated, and zero some of those accounts out
Yeah. If
On
it
the
has to
ones
be
we can.
allocated, leave it. If it
on the
doesn't,
ones we can.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I'm not sure what the fire warden is, and it's $21,000, $22,000, but if we could just get it out of there and move it towards their budget, if it makes sense and it's legal, let's
Okay.
do that. I mean.
He has been using small pieces, but here and there, but not regular. He's also one that has pockets of money in other places like the Title III funds that he can use for finite purposes. So I think
Especially with those program leads to say, hey, this is what we think, is that something you're interested in doing or not? Cause at some point, I mean, like if we can free up enough money to give raises that are meaningful.
Yeah.
We ought to do that instead of keeping accounts that just sit out there, and cause problems.
Yes, I would agree. Okay. I think those were the only ones hanging out that I needed direction as to where you guys wanted to take those funds from. Amanda and I went through and worked yesterday afternoon and, she's got salary numbers. Of course, none of the increases in the salaries are in anybody's individual budgets. But she has numbers if you guys would like her to
You bet.
give you those numbers. At whatever you wanted I think you said the 3 or the 5,
Yeah.
is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So 3% across all total salaries be 219,687.08. That's non-law, non-department head.
Okay,
that's at which percentage?
that's a 3.
3%. Okay,
What you,
4, yeah.
Oh, you
4.
want to do 4? Okay.
and there's forward for just those 278, 886.23. Hmm, 5% would be 338, 085.38.
0.3, yeah.
Lisa, I have a question for you. Do you think that kind of increase for salaried employees is gonna make any kind of hiring difference?
I think it could, yeah. Especially on the entry level positions, having a little bit higher starting salary. I know Jeremy's bumped his up, Sheriff bumped his up a couple years ago. But that 40,000's pretty hard to live on.
Yeah.
As a starting salary.
Because I think we bumped ours all up. Tracy, do you remember what year?
The starting salary
Yeah.
would have been 3 years ago.
It was before me.
Amanda, do you
so-
know?
When we went from 30 to 40, yeah, it was 4 or 5 years ago.
I was gonna say it's
It was
been a
before
while.
me. It
We
was
probably-
40 when I started, yeah.
Probably look at that.
So.
Sorry, what were you saying?
And to be fair, room and bridge positions aren't really entry level positions either.
Yeah.
You know, we need CDLs.
Yeah.
Correct. That's what we're putting.
We started something. Thoughts?
That's right. The reason we have the salary reserve is just for this, I think.
Yeah.
We could walk in here without it.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
bad.
so we put in, what, 212 last year? From the remaining balance?
I think it was 392,
Two.
because we had that weird number at the end. we
Yeah, and it
split
divided
three
by
ways.
4 equally.
I think by 3.
By 3, okay, and then we did building reserve, salary reserve, and,
We didn't do building reserve, we did new facility
Okay.
salary and I think just the general reserve,
okay.
I think.
I don't have,
23.
I go to the sheriff's and get what their,
July.
proposed rates would equal.
Thank you.
So it's 5% for the sheriff's office. 221, 801, 06. So if you went everybody 5%, it would be $560,000.
Take care of some of our extra hanging out.
Yes, it would. It would take care of the most, the salary reserve, yeah. But, you know, 4% keeps you guys even last year.
So I don't know what you mean by that last comment. Are you thinking 4% across the board at a minimum, or?
Well, CPI was 3.8
Yeah.
last year, and so 3.8 will keep you flat.
Yeah.
Earning power, purchasing power versus last year at the same rates, so.
I get you.
Yeah, but, yeah, I mean, it's, for us is, you know, but that was my intention to putting money into salaries, was to have money to bump salaries, so. But that is, you know, a meaningful piece of it, that would be 16% of it or so.
So last week I sent you all a salary study that Natrona County had done. The comparators are not great because they hit some of the more affluential counties, right? But just so you have that, we do have some comparators, which is nice because we actually have comparators for positions we have here in the county. So I've shared that with the sheriff, I've shared it with Jeremy, those that have asked for it, and then I shared it with all of you last week. So.
Yeah. Just to let you know what's going on in my mind, right? So 35% of our 35% of our budget is played by property taxes. Natrona County, it's not even close. And so they could be a lot more profligate with how they dish out salaries than we can, because if this passes.
I don't disagree with you at all,
Yeah.
Commissioner Kozar, I was just telling you.
Yeah, and I just want you to.
Well, no,
know
and I
that
get, yeah,
the thing that is bouncing about in my brain right now, like how do we ensure that everybody still has a job that's well paying? With the idea that it might change come January, November. And then how do we think about that if that were to happen? I'm really hopeful it won't happen, but. You know.
No, I know, talking to Campbell County for property taxes, 3%, personal property tax is 3% of their income.
And I guess I'll interject a little bit though.
Yeah.
I know that we're worried about the property taxes decrease, but this is the same thing you guys have been saying for years without property taxes decreases. And so even though we try and incrementally try and meet that market, we don't. And so, yes, I openly question, if those property taxes don't go through, are we going to use this as a crutch continually?
Yeah, we're the poorest county in the state per capita.
I think we have the money there. I think it's not necessarily a discussion of the capital is there, but a prioritization of where the capital should go.
Well, I agree. The relief from having spent money allocated for a building means that we don't have to sit here and try to eke out 100,000, 205,000 every year to hold that back. So that frees up money for other things. I agree.
And I would agree that the money is there now, but it's the sustainability that I worry about. Because we do have money in the salary reserve. But while we increase those salaries, we have to continue to pay those salaries at the increased rate. And if the money from the property taxes does not come in, how do we then pay that? Because I don't want to have to let people go.
So the residential property taxes has decreased. We are lucky and fortunate that we have special assessments or state assessed properties such as wind farms that are offsetting all those losses right now. So those assets in the county, like wind farms, depreciate. So we're at their value here. In another year or 2 years, 3 years, we're gonna be here. So if this number keeps going down, this number keeps going down, we will absolutely experience losses.
Does your rate of depreciation exceed the rate of increases that we're giving to our employees?
I can't answer that. I am not an assessor, and the assessor
Just walked
doesn't.
into it.
Oh, state assessor. She can answer
But my ears were ringing. So I missed the beginning part. Are you guys talking about the people's initiative?
Kind of.
Did that pass?
That's all, it's in the mix of what we're talking about.
Yeah, so our residential property taxes are actually up this year. Because last year, all residential property tax got 25% off. This year you had to apply for it. So that's why they went up. If the People's Initiative passes, that's going to be 50% off of your home only. And people will still have to apply for that. So I think we'll see a little bit of a decrease, but not back to where we were last year.
So it just, my brain's kind of, so the People's Initiative won't necessarily apply to everybody. You have to actually put an application to get it.
It's the same affidavit you have to sign for the 25% right now, or something similar.
I would assume something similar.
So people who want to pay the full property tax, depending on where it goes, have that option. I'm not saying everybody will, but I mean, that's, it's, we're still gonna see the decrease, so if we not move that.
Yes.
The doom and gloom.
So is the application process, is that through DOR rules promulgation? Or, because I didn't realize that that was written into the initiative for the ballot.
It is.
I
It's
think-
not written in that DOR promulgates rules, but it's written that they have to apply for it.
Your best guess, Chelsea, of where it would put us in relation to this year's property taxes, if it were to pass? 500,000 down, $1 million down, 250 down, what do you have, just a ballpark?
I would, for the county specifically,
Yeah.
500,000.
Right.
And of course, you know, the first year, it may be less than that, but, you know, as it continues, it will grow because more people will become aware.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that number.
So something to consider when you're trying to balance everything out, I mean, all that, what it kind of look like. What the money that we have coming in looks like, and then the money that we've already saved on there, and what that would look like in terms of reallocating it. That gives you at least some choices to make on where you would like that allocation go, what would be best allocated, like I said. Looking at the numbers and stuff that we've looked at as well. I don't necessarily think it's a question of capital liquidity. So you just have to you guys are gonna have to make that decision to prioritize on where you want that money to go to.
Something else to think about. So right now, I think Aaron, you mentioned that or maybe it was Tracy, we're not seeing as big of hits because of the wind farms that are moving in. So Boswell's online, like it's being taxed at its fullest. Rock Creek is pretty much there too, but we still have Rail Tide possibly coming in and then Lucky Star possibly. So those are gonna be two really big projects that we're gonna see some large sums of money coming in from. That may offset a lot of that loss in residential property tax.
That's helpful. I mean, this conversation is helpful to me.
Like I said, out of everything we invested in here at the county, the number one investment is our people.
Exactly.
So it's a people business. The services that we provided are provided by the people that we hired. At least from the sheriff's office perspective, it's important that we mimic that investment into the asset that we utilize, number one. That's the people that we have.
So do you guys need a ballpark number from us, or what do you need any specific salary increase that you want us to give you right now, or do you need us to think about it, or?
I don't need, I mean, I need direction from you guys as to what you want us to do.
So let's have one more question.
Sure.
Is it just on the primary structure or is it on the associated land with the residential property?
I have, the People's Initiative is just on the primary structure.
Just the structure? Okay.
Yes. And so,
And
The long
it's just the home structure,
Primary residence.
yeah, no outbuildings, no land.
And no more
attached
than,
garages.
Garages are part of the house, so yes.
but it's that no more than one exemption shall apply to a single property owned by a single owner per year. Requiring a homeowner to be a resident of Wyoming for at least 1 year and have occupied or to have occupied the primary residence for at least 6 months of the previous year. Qualify, requiring an initial sworn claim to be filed with the county assessor by the fourth Monday in May, providing for continuing the exemption in subsequent years through annually confirming eligibility, providing a penalty for false claim, and then clarifying that the exemption applies to the residential structure and specifying applicability. What the ballot will say. In all of its glory.
And that, yeah, that's straight off the Secretary of State's.
Yeah, it's in my proclamation for the ballot proposition, would it read on the ballot, so.
And keep in mind, so we have the long-term homeowners right now, which is 50% on residential structure and associated land. That exemption will still exist, but they cannot claim both. So those people will still have to pay the other half of their tax bill. They're not gonna get 100%.
I'm not sure what questions you need us to think about. So that you guys can do your work. I'm happy to think about it. I just want to not waste your time.
What percentage would you like us to work into the budget?
I think we should work in 4%.
Is that across the board? Is that outside of what? So as you guys know, the sheriff came with his recommendations. With Kate's recommendation for her salary, there was, and then Jeremy had sent his to me right before this meeting. So attorneys have theirs, so I guess I need direction as to how you want us to.
Well, for theirs, I guess we're flying blind if they're sending them to
Amanda's
you.
got Jeremy's up, I think.
So I guess if you have a memo for the commissioners, send it to the commissioners, please.
Yeah.
Cause I find out about it in correspondence 2 weeks later. And by that time, sometimes the ship has sailed.
And also, when you're doing salary stuff, well, and he says HR, we have to send it to Amanda because she has to figure out the FICA and the Medicare. So please, if you're gonna send salary stuff too, send it to all parties. Because it is hard. You're exactly right, that it's hard to come back on it and think Amanda could have had all of that done. So it's helpful to have that to her as well, because she does have to figure in all of the retirement, FICA, Medicare,
Yeah,
all
I'll
of
do
this.
impact.
Kate has an appointment that she has to go to. I'd like to do EMA now if we're going to start going through
Unless there's a tornado and
departments, right?
like a real one.
We can only do so
Not
much.
just a pretend one.
By EMA, you're saying EMA salary?
Yes, Amy's salary.
And specifically Kate's salary.
Kate, it is Kate's salary.
Okay.
10%.
We had put
Well,
in
and there was supposed to be multiple.
the possibility of all this is small.
Yeah, and the numbers that you sent me earlier were different than the numbers that I had.
I thought that was already.
No, not the increase.
Okay,
Is that a new presentation or have we seen that before?
You've seen it.
you've seen it. It was in the.
Just the,
I got it.
from yesterday morning?
Yep,
I might
from
have the
yesterday.
wrong one.
Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how you're getting $500,000 on 50% property tax, because I'm doing what I own and knowing what I
Well,
have.
because we're gonna gain
But, yeah, 10%.
from the land, because you're not getting 25% of the land anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to get in there.
And
It's gonna be a lot of calculator work.
only, I think it's 57% of our homes are owner occupied.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah. A lot of rentals.
What do they have to do though to prove that they're owner occupied?
Sign an affidavit.
And no more. Oh, people are already starting to snitch on their neighbors. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the ones that are tired of having rental properties next door.
Yeah, that's right.
Just. Is there a problem?
No.
Oh.
Is the number we're to consider 66,234.96? Is that, or is there a different number? Cause that's,
77.2.
Minus the 25,000 from the city.
Yeah, so that's considered a revenue, so it's an,
It'll all work out. in the
yeah,
wash.
it offsets, but in a different.
Wait a minute.
okay.
Either way, however
Here, I
you
can bring
offset it, the end number
It's
should be
77.
77.2.
Right. I didn't make that connection. Kate,
I can pull it up
Sheriff,
here,
it
too.
it says 52.2 in front of me. I didn't.
Yeah, we
notice
talked
the
about it
25
yesterday, yeah.
25,000. I know we talked about it, but yeah.
Oh, because we were using the two different tabs. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I can
So
bring this one up here.
77.2 is the proposed.
Yes.
And what is that as a raise from where we are right now?
I believe that's a 17% raise. But it brings that position up to market. Dollar wise, that is
60, no.
$11,200.
Okay.
Which I think we have enough to cover.
Yes.
Just knowing how much Kate puts in on the job.
Yeah.
If it were anybody else, though, we'd be talking about docking it right now.
Yeah.
And you did see the spreadsheet, we did the poll of all the other counties. as
Yeah,
well.
I can, yep. I'd just kind of like a full number, like, so as much as I'd
Amanda
like
can
to
give
talk
you a
about
full
this one,
number.
I'd like to have Jeremy weigh in on what his number would be, so that we would have an idea.
I did, but the numbers that I just got from Amanda were different than the numbers I had.
There's just longevity. That's
Yeah.
the difference.
So I don't have an exact number.
Okay,
She's working it right now.
okay, super. And is there anything else besides those two and
I
the
think it was
raise?
just the sheriff,
Sheriff
Kate's,
and
and
then
then
the countywide raise. So we're looking at.
But then we got the attorneys, you got.
and the attorneys, yeah.
So,
And Kate's will be a little different anyway, because we're only going to budget 3 months worth of hers and Kayla's salaries because of the grant, and then
Oh,
we'll
I
have
thought
to
we
do.
were not gonna do that.
Yes, and then we'll
I thought we
figure
were
out a
gonna
budget.
budget
amendment.
Kate's as a year-round position and then.
We're going
Kayla's
to
as-
wait, but we will take it out of salary reserve. The funds will be allocated but not allocated, because if
Oh, I
for
thought we
some
were,
reason.
I thought we were
Is
trying to
that
get away
correct,
from
Bailey?
this scenario.
Either, whatever we decide to do, it's gonna require a budget amendment.
Yes.
When Amanda and I met yesterday in the general fund, we budgeted for Kayla for 3 months, and I have Kate budgeted for 3 months out of the grant and grant match.
Yep.
Leaving us room to rediscuss this in September or whenever I hear about this lovely grant. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Again, I usually hear about this in the spring, haven't heard a word. So.
We will have to do a budget amendment no matter what, so.
Oh, this makes me head hurt.
Yeah, so we're
It's
probably not
okay.
gonna decide things right today.
I mean,
to the
I think,
number.
probably not to a number. I think you can make a decision. If you want to increase your salary, that's fine. Then we'll figure what needs to, what earmark what needs to come out of that salary reserve line to cover that at the 9 months.
And if you
Oh,
choose, I mean, if whatever you decide to set her salary at, there's enough in that grant match currently to cover what's currently there because we had the turnover, because we eliminated a position. So there's enough to cover that. So there, if you decide to move her up as of July 1.
But if Kate has to go do something right now, we'll hear from you again, Kate, right? If something is not reasonable. I just don't want you waiting here while we're trying to do this cipher.
Sure. And we know what her telephone number is.
Right.
The whole.
Everybody does.
So all we need is the road bridge and the attorneys.
And Amanda's working it.
Yeah, and Amanda's working.
If you guys have any questions for me, you can get a hold of me during my appointment.
Thanks.
It's not. If you get an alert from our alert system, then you would.
Luckily, we have the sheriff in here, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, he'll know. Thank you.
No, I thought the whole point of putting this changed around was to get Kate off
It is.
It is.
the roller coaster.
That is the intent, but
Okay,
So
just
part of,
in case.
but right now we have it fixed with.
it's not necessarily a money issue, it's a timing issue because of the grant cycle.
Sure.
So the grant that pays for those positions is on a federal.
And
grant
regardless,
cycle.
we have to have the position filled anyway, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
So-
if for some reason something funky happens, we don't want to supplant. So if we had to take her salary out of the grant, we can't have it budgeted already. Is that
I understand
Yeah.
that, I just,
So there's a 3 month a
transition?
3 to 4 month transition, depending on.
It will be 3.
I'm not pointing at you, it's the.
The grant has to start
Right.
October, we have to start
So-
October 1 because technically that grant runs 2 years. It's super weird,
Right.
backdating, but it has like,
But by
you
this,
have to be able to start.
but by this time next year, we don't have to worry about it. If we follow through with the decisions that we've discussed.
Oh, no, I didn't always have to budget now.
For her.
Not for Kayla though. Whatever position is on that, as long as they keep releasing the slate, yeah.
Well, as long as they keep.
Okay.
all right.
I don't think I got, so we're talking about road and bridge and he is looking at a 10% increase. Is that? I'm trying to match. Jennifer, were you able to talk to Kurt? Where is he?
No.
He was in court when I stopped in there earlier. Let me see if I can get a hold of him on the phone. I actually was also just sending an email. I found Boswell Springs, our pre-hearing statement for Boswell Springs. And in that, oh, now I lost it. Hang on. In that, the funds that we requested for impact assistance monies, their road and bridge had money for snow removal, like a per mile cost to maintain and for snow removal. They also had some employee costs in there. The fire warden maybe had money in there. The
Well, I'm sure.
sheriff, the sheriff's office had money for a deputy or a couple, maybe 4 deputies in total.
Should have been
Um,
4 deputies and 4 vehicles, I think.
I didn't read it. It's
I'll move down here.
let's see.
Oh,
Um,
just-
and
it
then
doesn't-
somewhere, good lord.
Oh, lordy.
Let's see.
So, let's see, fire detention in the first year of employment. 200,000 to the following first years.
The cost for the sheriff does include vehicles and then all of their things at the same time. And the prosecution money was for staff increases to add an attorney, it looks like. So it was specifically for salaries.
Which is a good thing, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this is making you sick.
Well, it's definitely taxing the eyes.
And you know, it's worse for me if I have my glasses on than if I don't.
Then if you don't, you know. Just trying to figure out which, there's a lot of memos in here. So this is TV. Close your eyes.
Just blink a lot.
Close your eyes.
That's the same
Look at
exact
the
thing as on the
lights.
first one.
So,
A lot of duplicated. Hold on.
Not all of them are Boswell, though.
I know, but the interesting thing is that they were duplicated numbers, so it was the same numbers for different.
That's where we got yelled at for
Yes, I remember, because
double
we were asking
dipping.
for the same thing for every single,
Yeah,
yeah. But this is a good breakdown, at least of what the money's, and then. Smaller clear law enforcement. So, but it looks like, at least for the attorney's office, benefits for 2 years.
I think that's the only one we had money in. That's the Boswell one, and that was just for salaries.
And how much is left in there, Tracy?
55, something.
yeah, for the attorneys.
I could help
And-
offset.
I did look at our current budget and we do have $20,000 in intern and part-time salary expense on this current budget that we're looking at now. And now I'm gonna see if I can get a hold of Kurt.
He was in the hallway a little bit ago.
I think they all just walked upstairs. No, I could be wrong.
Perfect. I'll try his office and then his cell.
Track him down. Do you need to move through this again?
No, you are having way too much fun scrolling and making us dizzy.
I'm
It's
sorry.
the most fun she's had all day.
I know I can get those commissioners. I know
Yeah.
it. There is a garbage can right here.
I was gonna
If anybody
say,
needs
yeah.
it.
I'm just trying to figure out. No, that looks very cookie cutter.
Jennifer probably sent it to you guys, but I will forward it on if she did not. She's
Okay.
pretty good about getting it to you guys too. She didn't, so I will forward it to you guys too. So you have it. To you right now. I asked Anissa too about the defibrillators, because we did say that we were gonna pay for them out of the building reserve fund. And it looks like, is it Roy who said you thought it was?
Yeah, I forwarded that email.
Yeah, I figured that we needed 20 of them.
You replaced yours recently, though?
Individuals.
No.
Yeah, they're just honestly.
Elon,
Yeah,
you scrolled through all that and then you forwarded it.
I know, I just. Come on.
How many do you have? How many? That's the question you should have.
I have a lot. I'm pretty sure.
So.
But I'm wondering if we need to have somebody put an order in for all those defibrillators before the end of the fiscal year, so we can.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you probably need two different kinds. You probably
Yeah.
need one that's mobile
Yeah.
in a vehicle, if,
I think-
if those are being suggested.
You've got the mobile ones in your vehicles, I presume.
We have an AED in every one of
And
them.
I'm wondering, like, Road and Bridge.
Yeah.
They're out. Do you guys have any in any of your
Mobile.
machinery?
Just one in each office.
Oh, well, we need one out in the main
I mean, it
office.
would probably
Well,
be
we have
really
one in there,
smart.
one-
No, I meant the main office where everybody's working.
So where they get you on AEDs is batteries and
Yeah.
pads, so your pads go out
I'm sure.
and then they don't certify them. I've seen at the rec center, they have AEDs that plug into the walls, they get rid of the battery part of it, and those are expensive. And the pads last 2, 3, 4 years depending. And then the AED is no good if your pad has expired.
Yeah, if there's no adhesion, then it.
Right, that's what they'll tell you.
Well, it also doesn't do any good if they're out solo either, if somebody's actually.
No.
Yeah.
Right, somebody should be able to use it.
Yeah,
I don't know how many solo operators, I'm guessing depending on environment.
8 operators and then, two maintenance guys.
Do
Do
they,
they
and
go
they,
out in pairs or do they go out on their own?
oh, so that kind of negates that.
And then they're either in the blade or in the pickup, so.
Oh.
They leave. it.
Right.
They wouldn't use it on
But even one in the
themselves, but
pickup
if
would
they come
be-
across somebody, they can
Yeah, that's
still
true.
use it, so like, you don't use a second person for anything, take it out.
You just get a detail of how many we need to be mobile and move, and it's places we can put on the second floor, third floor, first floor, right? Like they do at the rec center.
Well, those boxes are still on the wall, right? So there were current positions for them.
Yeah, so when Roy went around, it was 4 for the courthouse, 3 for the detention center, 1 for IT, none for public health. The annex needed 2, drug court needed 1, road and bridge only needed 1, but I'm assuming you'll need 2 now, cause that was back when it was, we don't have one in Rock River, we need one in Rock River, so my guess
I
is
think
you
they're gonna
2.
need, I think Road and Bridge are gonna need to have more.
Yeah,
Because
I
they-
think the lists are just for stationary
Yeah.
aids.
Yeah, these are just for ones mounted to the wall. Fairgrounds was 2, extension was 1, library was 4. Rachel, does that sound about right?
Now I'm trying to, oh yeah, but I think that probably included Centennial and they've added one. So it would be Rock River and then we bought one on the grant, so we're good at the library. So we could do, we could use one in our bookmobile and we could use one potentially in Rock River, but I think we should check with town hall, because if their town hall already has one, I don't know that it would make sense for us to put one in the library.
I don't know if it does or
I
not.
don't know if they
You
do.
only need 1 now? You think?
Fire station's right next door, but if they can't transport,
Person
you
that's,
I don't know.
only one person and she's not there.
drive the ambulance over.
Nobody's on this, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you staff that.
I mean, they could, yeah.
Literally, that is probably what would happen.
I was just trying to get an idea of what the cost would be, so we can figure it out of that building reserve. When you try to get your numbers, Tracy. Or the building reserve fund, because that's where it was said it
If
was
it-
supposed to be paid from.
Doesn't
It
get
is supposed to be
paid for
fiscal
this year, is there any harm in rolling it into next year? Same money, same encumbrance.
I'm just trying to figure out how much it
Oh.
is.
Dog budget 1,500 a stationary.
I'd say 15 to 1600,
Yeah.
that's about what we were,
And how many did we say we needed?
20?
We want to figure 25.
To me, it's better to have more than enough than not enough.
If you're gonna purchase them and then add mobile ones for road and bridge, I would,
Bookmobile.
and the bookmobile, I would say anywhere between 30 to 35 is what I would budget for.
What's the difference in the cost with ones that are stationary and the ones that go?
They're the same.
Are
Okay,
they?
Yeah, because the ones that are stationary, it has a lockbox, with the AED unit in there. It's not plugged into the wall or anything. Sometimes they'll have a little alarm.
You don't have to have a heater on the mobile ones or anything.
On the mobile ones, they need to, it's better if they stay in a place with neutral temperature, so you don't wanna just
Leave it in.
leave it in your car for like 3 weeks while it's 0 degrees outside.
So an external, just a
How's that
quick,
gonna work out on a,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
do you park, the trucks get parked inside in the winter?
Most of them, some of them don't.
Cause it's the pads, I mean,
Right.
yeah,
What's
Right,
the
they're all the
interior?
blades stay outside.
It's not so much the pads, it's the battery.
is it? Okay.
That's why you need to keep it in a, what I say neutral, so not extreme cold, not
As,
extreme heat.
as neutral as you can get around here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so really anywhere between, I would say 25 on the low end up to, I mean, you don't want it sitting in your car for a long time if it's 100 degrees
I
outside.
mean, obviously, if you need it, you're gonna grab it. It's gonna
Right.
do whatever it's gonna do.
so just a quick Amazon, like, they range anywhere from about 1450 to 1700.
Yeah, the one we just bought was 1,800 and it was one designed for a school. So it also
Yeah.
has, I don't know if all of these locations you're buying for library, we're buying all of the like kid size pads and all of the
Right, well,
adult
we would have
size.
to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah, ours was 1,800.
Yeah, she is.
It's okay, is that supposed to be out of this fiscal year?
I think
Or,
we-
It was approved to come out of this fiscal year, yes. And at the commissioners meeting, it was told to be paid out of there, and then nothing happened.
so are we planning on it for next fiscal?
Carry
year?
it.
I mean, I don't know that it really matters. I was just trying to figure out a number so that we could maybe move forward on it because I don't,
So 65,000
perfect.
for an $1,800 AED for 35 of them.
That work?
So do you want me to put in next year or deduct it from the cash on hand for this year?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Let's do next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long
And then,
is it gonna get it
because then that
ordered in
gets us
June?
enough time, but then at least then we have it.
I'd rather we get to do some research or
But at least,
Find
with
the
the
best
at least put a dollar.
I know
out
the
there.
schools do it like every month.
I would like them at least all serviceable at the same parts,
Yeah.
pieces, pads.
Yeah, and there's ones just hanging on the wall, plugged into the wall at the rec center. I know they are, they don't have a battery, they're small.
Yeah.
And maybe those are better than
Yeah, so-
these places where you're not having to worry about the backup battery.
I know I know you do have to change.
Yeah.
Basically, she's like, whether or not she's calibrated. it is.
You are the off.
Bailey, how much was that sign you needed?
Under 40.
You told
I'm sorry?
I know, I did say that, right? Let me look at it, it's under 40.
I thought I had written it down, but.
38,081,
Yeah, that sounds right.
$38,081, okay.
What are the other
Did
things
you
that
have a
you
number
know?
for Jeremy's?
Yes,
Please.
so with his proposal would be, with all the benefits and whatnot, it'd be $91,791 and 88 cents.
Say it one more time, a little slower.
91,791.88.
Does that include that extra position?
Yes. The open one and the new mechanic.
And is the attorney in the spreadsheet?
For the attorneys, there's, what he was proposing is just what's fully reimbursed by the state currently. And it was, so it'd just be the, well, he's getting $82,831.84 in this fiscal and next fiscal, but he wants to split that up and just give them it over 4 years.
And it was
82,831.8.
And that's just for the attorneys, that's not for his support staff, like the,
Yeah,
But his
it's
support staff
only-
would factor in under
would
staff.
factor
county
under the
staff.
other ones, yes, but this is just for the,
Is that two disbursements of 82 or is that,
That's what we get, yes,
so 164 total
over the 2 years.
Yes.
2 years.
And so he'll be about 41 a year.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And I did just talk to Kurt and he does want to split that over the 4 years amongst the attorneys. Similarly to what we did with the increase for the elected.
So 41,000. That's. I'm getting that
Jennifer?
correct, right?
Yes,
Elected, it's adding that a certain amount each year. This would not add if you're splitting it.
it will. It will add it to this year for that raise amount because it's in addition to the 30 that we already get for each attorney. So it will add it, the raise this year, but then that raise will be fully funded by this increased amount for the next 4.
But only, but it's an even over the next 4 years. It doesn't build.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So it jumps this year, but then that jump is fully funded for the 3 years after
Okay.
this.
I just wanted to make sure that's what you were,
Yes.
your goal.
Correct.
We'll have to, like we talked yesterday, defer the revenue after after year 1, push it forward into the next 3.
Yes.
So those numbers plus 5% for the salary increase for salaries around Albany County employees, plus the law enforcement would equal $685,000. We haven't put it yet,
Probably.
probably. I mean, it's close. I mean, I rounded everything up,
Yes.
right?
So if you're doing 5.
So I have the numbers of, I use 339, 222, and $124,000. So $339,000, $222,000, and $124,000. That does not talk about department heads.
True.
So that's 5% for regular, 5% for law enforcement.
Yeah.
Okay.
The numbers I'm seeing, right? I took sheriff's numbers. I took, yeah.
Yeah, those two combined are 560.
Yeah. And so then department heads. Could you tell me what 5% of that is? You don't have to be quickly, but it can't be. Usually.
One minute. Let's go over there.
Did you factor in the attorneys on that?
Yep, okay, so I get the numbers from Amanda for the 11.2 for EMA. And I took 91.8 for road and bridge, and I put 41,000 for attorneys.
No rush.
It's a lot of pressure.
You got all day, unless there's a tornado. And you have until the power goes out.
Tornado's heading east, don't worry.
Oh, that's right.
Clear skies.
We don't have to worry. Horse Creek's on that one.
It'll hit Nebraska.
Is it still north?
No, it's east.
No, but I meant.
By
It's
Wheatland.
east, but, okay.
It's by Wheatland.
It's still north. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's gonna head over to Torrington and then Nebraska, so like I said,
good.
we should get a rainbow here soon. Oh, good.
No moisture though. Maybe.
nice to have got some rain now.
We got
A little, like 10 drops.
10 drops.
Maybe 100.
That's enough to
10
quantify.
drops in my
Better than
yard.
0.
Made the sidewalk. Damn.
Blue sidewalks. So then you live in my yard, is what you're saying. Live in my neighborhood.
If we want to take a 10-minute break, everybody needs to refresh their room or.
Nope.
Right, I got nothing.
Just to
Probably on my dog.
There's no pressure. Here's where the shit breaks. Oh, did. Please looking fields on. Pleasure. Excuse me, ma'am. Yeah. Would I be able to do that address? Finding? Oh, I just want Stacy. Oh, perfect. I do. It's not. So.
Okay, got it?
So those department heads, 5.
Yes.
$32,717.84.
2,700.
32.
717.84.
Oh, good.
Are you looking at about 740?
718,
Okay.
which is like right at 25% of the salary reserve. Would you guys comfortable with that? Yeah, and then I think the caveat would be, can you research those in impact
Oh,
assessment funds to see if we can offset some of this?
Yep.
At least this year and.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're doing two things. Closing accounts and
Yep.
giving people raises.
Well, that's a pretty positive thing.
Yeah. So did y'all hear that? We're contemplating 5% across the board. Across the board, plus the special requests that were made to put people up. I think that gives you a new position. Jeremy, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, raises them up, raises Kate up.
And just so you guys know too, it is calculated in these numbers that the county will pick up the increase in the retirement.
The 0.5 and either, and then the 0.9.
The 0.5 for the regular and then the 0.9% for law enforcement. Unless you would like something different, but that's how it's calculated right now.
Okay, and could you give us that number so that we're not using my math? Man,
It's in the salaries right now.
Oh, okay.
It's in the salary numbers right
So
now.
if you wanted to change it, we could.
Okay, okay.
If you'd like to keep it that way. That's how it is. If you're good with that.
I don't know that it's generous, but it's accommodating
But the
the increase.
increase, I'll take
Well,
your
it's better
feedback.
going the other way, I'll
Right,
tell you.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
I'll take your feedback. I mean,
What's the increase percentage of it? 5?
5%.
No. For the retirement. Oh, 0.5 and the 0.9 on the employees or employer side.
Retirement. Or, yeah, retirement.
So 1.4 total. I guess.
No, the math doesn't work out that way, so it's 0.5 for non-law enforcement employees and 0.9% for law enforcement.
Okay, that's what, but then you said something else.
The total law is 1.8.
So
It's fine, but it's split. I got it.
Commissioner goes, are your, all the unallocated from impact assistance, so at least the 446,000, if it's legal, move that into salary reserve and then,
whole lot of salary
Yeah.
reserve.
okay,
Yeah, or something, right? Like,
Okay.
I would like to get these guys' take on it, since they work with it every day.
sure.
Bad, but it's, the shell game, we move it into
Yeah.
general or salary, yeah, but either way, it's fine with me.
And if Boswell Springs for Road and Bridge has a salary component.
Says,
Even though that's what it is.
Oh,
okay, deeper and see if it. There's something else.
Yeah,
So can you clarify something with me, Amanda? So the road and bridge though is a 10% increase, or is it a 5%? I'm confused. I'm sorry, because everybody came.
Whichever.
Is it
The
calculated?
number they got here.
So I thought the number we got for Road and Bridge was a 10% request. Okay, so that would.
So that's calculated in there as a 10%. What are the numbers you gave to the commissioners? No,
I
okay,
have to separate it.
okay. I don't think we have true numbers. So
No,
I guess is
that
what
would
I'm
be
trying to figure out is what,
exact.
what is everybody,
Exactly
do you
exact
just
that
want to do 5% for all regular employees, 5% for law? Basically 5% across the board, except for road and bridge at 10% and Kate at her increase, or do you want to just do everybody at 5%? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because we're not getting,
The
We're not
the
apples
first
to
that you
apples here.
proposed, I think we have some catching up to do with Road and Bridge. To even try to staff some positions, and we may need to look at, and then 5% across the board,
okay, so road and bridge, leave at the 10%.
yes,
Right,
Do you want to leave Kate at her 77.2?
yes.
yeah.
Okay, and then So then department heads,
Yep.
law enforcement, as well as regular employees at the 5%.
Yes.
Correct. And
Okay,
then whatever
And
the
then
attorneys.
the attorneys, theirs were at
Are
the,
wash, but whatever.
that number is. Okay. Does that make sense to you, Amanda? Yeah. Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure we had, yeah, you'll have to do some numbering stuff.
And I would
just
say
wanted
these
to
are
make sure.
adjustments that are at a minimum, and then if we, through the process, find that there's more,
Okay,
then we'll.
and then, okay, perfect.
And then Amanda's gonna give us what that real number is.
Yeah, I'll get the
Yeah,
actual.
Perfect, okay. Yeah, super.
Do
Made
that.
it real number.
Right. I don't wanna rely on my napkin here, so.
You never.
No, and
wanna-
mine's about, what, 30-something thousand off from yours, so
Yeah, you never want to look like, rely on.
it's not around me here, so.
I don't, Tracy, do you have any other? I mean, unless anybody else has anything else they want to talk about, I think I got all my questions answered.
I just have unanswered things I have to investigate, like the engineering fees, like,
Yeah,
you know, for rec.
Yep.
Did he go out there? Did we pay him? Where it came from?
what about the abandoned vehicle fund? Did we find out what we were doing there?
I want to create one more fund.
For abandoned motor vehicle.
Yeah, I just wanna stick $36,000 in one account and then have a service account that actually pays for everything.
I didn't see anything in the law that says you can't do that, but anything above 36,000 or whatever the number is for the $1 per
Yeah, but it's got
person
that-
that we have
That
here.
gray area for,
That has to roll into the general fund. That's pretty specific in the state statutes. So whatever we have above and beyond, which we shouldn't when we get updated numbers, I'm pretty sure we're below. So,
well, statute's clear as mud, other than the $1 per.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I sent that back out and I read it. Like I said, I'm almost fairly sure, and we've looked at it multiple times, that you can't
Have more than 36,
You can't
more than
fund that
a dollar
account.
per population. Yeah, but that's
That's
the
what we
previous sentence that causes the problem with,
And annually, we have been transferring out of there
Right.
the
yeah.
excess funds over the $37,066. But you have to kind of leave it in there to cash flow
Right.
when you're selling things for way less than you're paying for them. And now, right now, we don't even know what we have yet to pay for because we haven't had anything for over a year.
Well, let me ask you this, is this something we need to try to get in front of legislature to get clarification, or?
I think legislature, I don't know that's the problem. I think
At least they can clean up the language, or?
the problem is that we sell vehicles for $30 when we're paying out $760.
Yeah, trying to address that.
I mean, you're a businessman. Do you replace locks for $30 when you bought them for $760?
People in this community have a hard time with the economics of it.
Yeah.
But, and I get the reasons why these things have happened, because we've always done it this way and all this stuff, but we can fix it. Nothing isn't fixable. And it's hard to give numbers for budget purposes. And the last payments we made were in June of 25.
Have a process.
Yeah.
We'll budget 33,700, and then we'll have a process to rectify a budget amendment once a year or something. If we go below that, right? Is that a solution? Or is
I
that
mean,
not?
we just need to be able to have a source to fund this and cash flow it, should there be
Yeah,
not enough money to pay for whatever has to be paid for. But it's hard to know what we need to pay for when we have. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say.
right.
Have nothing to base a budget number off of.
You never will.
We'll just have the.
We can't predict abandoned motor vehicles.
But how many do you have right now that you have not processed or given us money for or paid the tow bills on for the last year?
Well, like I said, I thought we gave you 16 of them a couple months ago.
We have nothing.
Okay,
So if you could get us something, that would help a lot.
we could do that. Like I said, the law's pretty clear. What you need to budget is $36,000.
But
No, the law is not real clear. It's,
that is not what we need to budget for, because we get $1 for every title, so we don't know that number either, really. We can base it off history, but we don't know like what you're sitting on. How many vehicles are you sitting on right now that need to be paid?
Probably.
It's been since June of 25, Sheriff. That's 1 year of towing of vehicles. What number do we need to pay? That's what I'm asking.
and we're moving along.
Right. So other questions for us today?
I don't think that I have any more. I guess my other question would be, we've got just the two vehicles that will budget out of vehicle replacement. I don't think anybody else needs to replace any vehicles this year. You've got money in sped if you need to do that, right?
Okay.
I do have that vehicle replacement in the direct aid, with a note that we discussed possibly using impact assistance.
Yep. Okay.
So it shows direct aid is in the hole, but that's easily movable and that would correct the overage there.
Other than that, I think I got all my questions answered.
I'm still trying to find the direct aid here.
It's on the
I
first page
found
with the
tab.
GM 1%.
I gotta remember every time you're looking this.
Same.
Yeah. Okay.
And have they figured that out as a number yet? Like the
Uh,
actual number, it seemed like.
Jeremiah actually had a pretty decent,
I'm sorry, I went to
Direct aid.
Direct aid.
Oh, yeah, that was in the revenue estimating manual, and I have that number in there.
Is that the actual number?
That's what
Okay.
was in the estimating manual,
Okay.
yeah.
I just knew it was between 7% and 8%. It was $3.7 million. That's all I got. That's,
Well, Jeremiah put in the book 2.258
Okay,
million, so.
cool.
no, that percentage was, I think, changed statewide for Kent, yeah.
Yeah, because it's the different funding source.
Yeah.
It's through sales tax rather than over the cap.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything for your treasurer's office at all? Any questions that need to be?
If you want me to continue planning on continuing the refund program. If that's your inclination to do so. Just so, because I do have to create like new applications, new brochures, I want to get all the like Facebook posts planned to be on the radio, whatever I gotta do to get the message out.
I've got a lot of people asking. I don't know why they come to me, but.
It's late.
Yeah, because I'm the exemplar.
Well, if I'm in this position and that people's initiative passes, I'll know what the answer will be next year.
Mhm.
But this year,
I think we should continue it as long as we can.
Okay, I will keep planning in that direction. Thank you.
Feel somebody in the room is awfully cheery because she doesn't have a primary or general opponent, but
I know. Big happy smile.
anybody else? Any
Contrary to the
program
one this morning.
or thing we haven't covered that you'd like to get us information on?
I can pinpoint the 50% off too, if you guys want.
if you wouldn't mind.
That'd be great. It'd be
Yeah.
great to know that number.
Because what you mentioned was completely different than what I had envisioned and tried to calculate, so.
Yeah.
So do we need to figure out, do we have another meeting scheduled or do we
We do
need?
not. But we can. do that Now, so. When are you leaving?
Pushing it behind our 16th. meeting,
No,
An option?
we can't, because we have to advertise. Let me just get a date here for you real quick, like, sorry. Um, budget. We have to have the proposed budget to the paper by the 18th. So we have to, yeah, by the 18th of June. So this the Thursday, so we could schedule something. Terry, are you gone next week?
No. It was last month that I was gone next week.
Is anybody gone next week?
I'm in court on the 8th and the 10th, but not the 10th. I'm out of town on the 10th.
I'm gone next week,
You're gone next week, all of next week?
all but Friday.
I'm just gone on Tuesday next week.
Well,
Committee is meeting.
How about if we just plan, how about Friday?
Amanda will not be here, but, I can
You can channel
screw up
her,
her spreadsheet
channel her
like
inner,
nobody's
accounting.
business. I will make Sunny touch the spreadsheet, or Tracy.
do you think this Friday or the 12th?
It would be, well, or we can, I mean,
I thought it was the 12th.
the 12th would be next Friday.
Either one works for me.
Yeah, I can do either one.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if that gives you guys enough time to get what we had.
You're shaking your head, but
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of like,
okay.
There's-
those dolls.
if
It'll
there's
be
not
done.
gonna be a lot of changes on the numbers, I mean, we can get you some solid numbers. Because I would prefer if the numbers are gonna be changed, that Amanda change them.
Yeah.
Because I really don't wanna screw up her spreadsheet.
No, and I think those, probably the ones we change would be the ones pertinent to Amanda, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can get you guys good numbers easily by Friday.
Okay.
And so we can send those to you guys. Would that be helpful? And then,
Yep.
and we can send it to everybody so that they can see what their individual departments look like as well. We can just, yeah. We can put it in the,
Are you saying
this Friday? This Friday? Get numbers for this Friday, yeah, for at least the salary stuff, so.
Gotcha.
Do you want to meet this Friday as well, or no?
I won't be here Friday.
Oh, that was.
That was tricky.
When would you like to meet then?
Yeah,
I mean, we can meet next week, if you guys wanna meet next Friday. It doesn't matter to me, I mean, I can meet on Friday too, I'm just taking it off to help with my niece's graduation on Saturday, her party. So it doesn't, I'm happy to meet on Friday, if you guys wanna meet on Friday, if that would be,
Well, how
Better.
about if we met on the 12th?
does the 12th work for everybody?
other than Amanda, yes, it works for everybody, than the person that runs the spreadsheet.
That's okay, you won't need. I'll show you.
Will there be a Zoom option?
No,
What about the 11th?
no, you're not zooming in, you're on vacation,
From
she's not allowed,
Okay,
she's not
Right.
allowed.
No, she can't.
I can do the 11th after 10 o'clock.
No, I can do all day the 11th.
Yeah.
What about everybody else?
Yeah, here's a.
Yeah.
Always want to be the odd one.
Sorry.
Can everybody meet this Friday?
Yes.
Tracy, can you get
Yes.
your stuff by Friday?
I can get it done, but I won't have Sunny.
Are you going on vacation too, Sunny?
Kind of,
Tis the
yeah.
season.
It's the season for livestock shows.
Oh.
Children's.
Oh, that'll be way more
We
stressful.
would, yeah,
Yeah.
we would like you to be on vacation.
That's
not a vacation at all.
Yeah. She's doing a different kind of labor. Probably wishing she was at work. Child labor.
Isn't it time your husband took the lead?
No.
I tried, all right.
Let's
So we
not
could
go.
get if we did this Friday and it wasn't on you guys, we could get 95% of the way there, if not more, I
I'm
think.
out of town Friday also.
You're out of town this Friday,
Yes.
Monday? The people gone Monday, you're out on Monday, right?
I have court in this building, so.
Okay,
I'm at the National Sheriff's Association in Nebraska.
okay.
And that would be on Monday.
Yeah, technically it's from Saturday, this Saturday.
What time are you thinking on Monday?
I can do whatever time.
Jennifer, what time's the hearing on Monday? I think it's 2:30.
It is. I had to get to the right day on my calendar. It's 2:30 on Monday.
Okay, so,
We could do Monday
yeah, we can
morning,
do Monday morning.
Except for the sheriff.
Thank you.
except for the sheriff.
I won't be here either.
Oh, my goodness.
If everybody can review their stuff before. I hate to throw my weight around, but Amanda needs to be here if we need to make changes.
So it needs to be
Really-
this Friday.
No, or Monday.
Okay.
She's here on Monday. Monday would be perfect. Then that would give,
Okay, so if you've got preliminary numbers by Friday that we can review and all the department heads can review,
we
then we
could
can
probably, yeah.
assemble or at least have input provided.
And if Sheriff, if you could
Even by
have,
proxy.
here somebody, or if you can zoom in, I can do a Zoom link as well.
Under Sheriff will be here.
Okay.
Okay, and how about you, Chelsea? Would you be able to have somebody here on Monday? Okay,
Sorry, I really don't wanna, it's hard to fix things after the fact. It's much easier.
To
get it right
ratify the
first
exact
time.
document. Yes.
Yes.
So what time?
9 a.m.
You guys tell me
9,
when
9:30.
and I can set the time. And just.
Whatever.
9?
Nine.
9.
Are you gonna be on an airplane?
No, I'm gonna be in committee meetings in Omaha.
Oh, it's in Omaha even.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not really, okay.
yeah. No, it's not a vacation destination.
Oh, no, it's definitely not. No, they didn't.
You would
Maybe
say-
during hunting season, but not.
Are you gonna be in Nebraska too?
should we plan for till noon or should we plan till 1 or what?
Oh, what do you guys
It's not
think?
until noon.
We
We
could
have to
go,
run over, we have to run over.
we can go 9 to noon.
Yeah.
I'll just set it for that, and then if we get done early, great. And I'll send an invite out to everybody.
Well, it should be essentially what we've already discussed, so it's just to ratify and make sure that.
So it's really so we can get a good proposed budget, so that we can get it all ready to go to.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good then.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Yes,
Thank you. Go team.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yay.